we all know that, that I mean, everybody wants to advance in their career. So, telling them what to do is not really the ideal way to go about it, like you mentioned earlier. And the other side of this is that, the HR and managers often fail to provide meaningful feedback. So, how can HR and managers provide meaningful feedback and help employees advance in their career?
Absolutely. This is something that is very near and dear to my heart when it comes to feedback, because you can't just check the box and say, well, I did it. I filled out the performance review. It's in the system. You actually have to have a really meaningful conversation. And it's actually one of the reasons why at Order Group, we don't do ratings, because my whole HR career has been fighting about ratings versus what's the feedback you're trying to give. And you like back into the rating, but then you read the feedback and it doesn't support the rating. So it's really more about providing feedback that is, so outside of like any sort of scheduled performance reviews, feedback that is timely. So if you've held on to it too long, they can't make any adjustments, or they don't know what they're doing is good. So you want to make sure that you're constantly giving the feedback in a timely way so they can either adjust or recognize that something's going really well and like feel energized and motivated by that. You also want to make sure there's lots of examples. So if you didn't witness it, getting examples from others, because otherwise I don't have the context of it. So if you just say, oh, the presentation you did the other day wasn't so great. Okay, well, like, what wasn't great about it? You
Right.
didn't come to a conclusion. You didn't try to get feedback. You didn't get to a decision. You didn't talk about next steps. Like, what was the thing that didn't work? And then really helping understand, okay, great. Now I have the feedback. Now what? So that presentation on Tuesday with the team, I really don't think you solidified what next steps were coming out of it. So I think, next time, let's have a slide that specifically says next step, so that sort of cues us in the conversation. Or let's go back and send an email to that group about how we can, what the next steps are supposed to be. And so you can get, confirmation that everybody's on the same page. So help me understand as an employee what I should have done differently and how I can do it differently next time. And if it's a skill gap, how can I learn to do it? So let's review the deck next time and talk through those talking points to make sure you have that moment at the end of the meeting, or, just to kind of keep using the presentation example. So helping them understand what you expected and how they can improve in the future and what that action looks like coming out of this conversation.